Welcome to Quinto Heights Academy Corporation, a non-stock educational corporation presented by Gascon, Luo, Nang, Pamintuan, and Penaflorida.
Quinto Heights Academy, Inc. is a special non stock educational corporation, a non-profit institution organized aligned with the policy of promoting and enhancing the quality of education. These institutions are governed under the Revised Corporation Code or the RA 11232. As a non stock educational entity, it does not issue shares, and all income and donations are used solely for the institution's best interests to improve school programs, facilities, and student development. The Constitution provides that such educational institutions are exempted from taxes on income used directly, actually, and exclusively for educational purposes. The corporation will operate a DepEd compliant elementary school where governance will be provided by a board of trustees and compliance with the SEC and DepEd requirements will ensure its lawful and sustainable operations.
Quinto Heights Academy Incorporated will operate from its main office at 45 Mabuhay Lane, Barangay Western Bikutan, Taguig City. The school was founded by five Filipino incorporators who voluntarily united to pursue a shared mission of providing quality education to the community. The corporation's primary purpose is to operate an educational institution offering pre-elementary, elementary, and secondary education. Beyond academics, the institution also seeks to promote holistic student development through outreach programs for children and youth, partnership for research and cultural exchange, and the integration of modern technology into teaching to strengthen digital literacy and critical thinking. To establish the school, the incorporators collectively contributed a total capital of 250,000 pesos, equally shared at 50,000 pesos each. This initial capitalization reflects their commitment to ensuring the institution's financial stability. All funds are dedicated exclusively to advancing the educational objectives of the corporation in full compliance with the revised Corporation Code of the Philippines.
Quinto Heights Academy Corporation is designed to provide accessible education at the pre-elementary, elementary, and secondary levels. All of its income is reinvested into the mission, ensuring that funds go directly to sustaining and improving school operations. The institution also focuses on holistic development, encouraging students to join arts, sports, and leadership activities. It extends its reach through community outreach programs offering literacy initiatives, scholarships, and skills training for underprivileged youth. At the same time, it builds a collaborative partnership with local and international institutions to promote research and cultural exchange. To keep up with modern demands, the Academy emphasizes technology integration, equipping students with digital literacy and critical thinking skills. Governance is ensured through annual meetings, trustee elections, and officer accountability, while members enjoy rights such as voting and participation, balanced with responsibilities like compliances and dues payment. Finally, the corporation remains adaptable, with bylaws that can be amended to meet the changing needs of education.
For the third requirement of the Articles of Incorporation, the location of the principal office must be stated. For the case of Quinto Heights Academy Incorporated, it shall be located at 45 Mabuhay Lane, Barangay Western Bikutan, Taguig City 1630. Next, the fourth requirement shall require the corporate term to be stated. In this case, it shall exist for 50 years from the date of issuance of the certificate of incorporation. It shall also be renewable for such other terms. And for the fifth requirement, it requires to state the names, nationalities, and residences of the incorporators for the incorporation. For Quinto Heights Academy, there are five incorporators. First, Don Rafael Lim. Second, Alexander Dominic Vergara. Third, Yelena Marie Stan. Fourth, Micaela Ann Domingo. And lastly, Avery Archer Reyes. All of them are Filipino with residences residing in the Philippines.
For Article 6, this section focuses on the Board of Trustees, the group responsible for managing the corporation. A non stock educational corporation must have at least 5 and at most 15 trustees, and the number must be a multiple of 5, meaning it can only be 5, 10, or 15 trustees. The articles must list the names, nationalities, and residences of the initial trustees who will serve until the first regular election. Trustees serve 5-year terms, and the majority of them forms a quorum for making decisions. For Article 7, this part covers capital and contributions. Since the corporation is non stock, it has no shares. Instead, the incorporators contribute funds that support the organization. The articles must show the total amount of contributions or funds and list each contributor's name, nationality, residence, and exact amount contributed by each one.
So presenting parts 8, 9, 10, and 11 of the Articles of Incorporation. So Article 8, so this provision states that the corporation is a non-profit. So this means that any income it earns cannot be cannot be distributed to its members, trustees, or officials as dividends. Instead, all funds must be used to solely support the school's programs, operations, and activities, and its purpose is to ensure that the cooperation remains focused on its educational mission rather than profit making. So, ninth article. So this article designates Avery Archer Reyes as the treasurer. So beyond naming a treasurer, this provision clarifies the role that the treasurer is the official representative authorized to receive contributions or donations from the cooperation. This ensures that the transparency and accountability in handling the organization's funds. And the article also states that the treasurer will continue in the role until a new one is properly elected according by the bylaws. So for the 10th article, so this article concerns the corporation's name. So it states that the corporation is willing to change its name if it turns out that another entity already has legal rights to the name, or the name is too similar to an existing one. So this protects the corporation from legal conflicts and ensures compliance with the SEC rules on corporate name distinctiveness. Lastly, for the 11th article, so this article is about regulatory compliance. It commits the corporation to follow all guidelines, rules, and requirements issued by the Securities and Exchange Commission for non-stock corporations. Essentially, it ensures that the corporation operates legally, transparently, and in accordance with national standards for non-profit entities. So the document closes with attestation stating that the incorporator signed the Articles of Incorporation on November 22, 2025 in Taguig City, confirming their agreement to all the provisions.
Now, regarding the bylaws of Quinta Heights Academy Incorporation, it is connected with each provision to the Revised Corporation Code of the Philippines. The bylaws serve as the Academy's internal rulebook, while the RCC provides the national legal framework that validates those rules. Now, in Article 1 on meetings, the bylaws require annual and special meetings, notices, quorum, and proxy voting. These provisions align with Section 48 to 51 of the RCC, which regulate meetings, notices, and quorum, and Section 57, which allows voting by proxy. Article 2 on trustees reflects Sections 22 to 26, where the RCC vests corporate powers in the board, requires trustees to be members of legal age, and disqualifies those convicted of serious crimes. For Articles 3 and 4 on officers, the bylaws follow Sections 24 and 25, which mandate the election of a president, treasurer, and secretary by the board, with a 1-year term of office. The duties outlined in the bylaws, such as the president acting as CEO, the secretary keeping the records, and the treasurer managing funds, mirror the responsibilities described in the RCC. In Article 5 on members, the bylaws correspond to Sections 73 to 75, granting rights like voting, holding office, and inspecting records, while also imposing duties such as attending meetings and paying dues. Article 6 on suspension and expulsion is consistent with Section 91, which requires certain charges and a majority of vote for expulsion. Now, for the financial rules in Article 7 on funds, it reflects Sections 86 and 87, which state that non stock corporations must use income for their purposes and set a fiscal year. Article 8 on the corporate seal then matches Section 177, requiring corporations to adopt a seal. Finally, Article 9 on amendments follows Section 16, which allows bylaws to be amended by majority vote of both trustees and members. Overall, the corporation shows that every provision of the bylaws is directly tied to the revised corporation code, ensuring that the Academy's governance is legally sound, transparent, and accountable.
So, incorporating a non-stock educational corporation is a very essential strategy for strengthening the Philippine educational sector because through incorporation, the institution gains legal identity, organizing management, and clear accountability. This ensures the transparent operations, especially for organizations serving communities and supporting social development. So, a formal structure also gives the institution better access to resources. It also becomes eligible for grants, donations, and partnerships that help improve their programs, facilities, and long term stability. So, this especially values the institutions working with undeserved groups, since incorporation ensures that trustees and administrators act responsibly and protect the organization's mission. Lastly, incorporation allows the institution to make a wider impact. A legally recognized educational government can support lifelong learning skills, training, and community involvement. So, by participating in local and national initiatives, it helps address the gaps in to accessing quality and contributes to the overall development of education here in the Philippines.
The incorporation and establishment of a non-stock educational corporation helps in addressing gaps in accessibility to quality education. Such an institution operates not for profit but for public service. This ensures that resources, governance systems, and institutional efforts are directed towards advancing societal welfare rather than private profit and gain. The presence of such institutions contributes to nation building by nurturing responsible, ethical, and educated citizens. It is no argument that education is a necessity for a functional population that can work towards a better future. Incorporation provides corporations a legal identity and ensures that they comply with law, enabling transparency, accountability, and continuity of educational initiatives. This is particularly important in the basic education sector, where quality in curriculum delivery, teacher training, and institutional management significantly impacts student outcomes. This means that they don't just affect the students, they affect the futures of Filipinos who have the potential to change the country or even the world. Through incorporation, the proposed institution can forge formal partnerships with local governments, NGOs, and private corporations, allowing for shared resources, scholarship opportunities, and community aligned programs. These partnerships are capable of enriching educational delivery and help build a skilled, capable, and value oriented population, which is an outcome that ultimately benefits industries, labor sectors, and local communities. To conclude, the establishment of a special non-stock educational corporation is a socially responsible move that supports both the educational sector and the broader societal and economic landscape of the Philippines. Incorporation allows this establishment to exist by law, which protects not only the business but also the population. Through its structured governance, reinvestment of resources into itself, and commitment to the public good, it stands as a powerful instrument in strengthening Philippine society today and for generations to come.
Incorporating and establishing a non-stock educational corporation is beneficial because it helps provide accessible, high-quality basic education in the Philippines, enabling the school to work on nation building through educational driven economic growth. Incorporation ensures that the corporation will operate with legitimacy, accountability, and transparency, which are key elements to operate sustainably and responsibly within this country. Creating a formally incorporated legal entity ensures that the institution's resources will be safeguarded from private gain. As a non-stock, non-profit corporation, all resources are legally bound and must be reinvested to the school, keeping it safe from private financial gain. This enables the funding of scholarship programs, modern facilities, and the delivery of quality education. Through this, the institution can act as a catalyst for social mobility by providing education that otherwise might be inaccessible, helping break cycles of poverty and supporting our country's long-term development goal of reducing inequality and reducing poverty. The incorporation and establishment of a non-stock educational corporation is vital in strengthening education in the Philippines through its ability to develop quality basic education and human capital, equipping students with the skills necessary to navigate the modern economy. And as a non-profit corporation, all the corporation's profit would be reinvested to the institution, creating a cycle of improvement which can further provide growth and stability to the corporation, allowing it to expand further. This cycle ensures that the institution can scale quickly, allowing it to reach more communities and consistently improve the quality of education, making it invaluable to this country.
A special non stock educational corporation is created to promote accessible and quality education. By following the rules under the revised corporation code, the institution becomes a legally recognized entity with a proper structure and regulated operation. This ensures accountability, transparency, and ethical management, especially because these institutions rely on donations and grants, which the law requires to be used only for improving educational programs and facilities. Forming this type of corporation also protects the organization and its stakeholders. It strengthens credibility and allows the institution to continue operating properly even when administrators change. Overall, establishing it helps guarantee the educational initiatives are well managed, community focused, and aligned with the goal of providing quality education for all.
Business remains a fundamental driver of economic growth, with corporations providing the organizational structure and accountability that sustain it. Now, within this framework, non stock educational corporations distinguish themselves by prioritizing education and the dissemination of knowledge rather than profit. These institutions are indispensable as they cultivate human capital, strengthen communities, and elevate the quality of the national workforce. The incorporation of non stock educational corporations ensure that they are formally recognized and empowered to fulfill their broader mission. Unlike profit oriented entities, their central focus is accessibility, enabling more Filipinos to pursue education regardless of financial constraints. This inclusivity enhances the labor force, prepares future leaders, and fosters both entrepreneurship and innovation. Ultimately, incorporation extends beyond mere legal recognition. It represents a strategic investment in human capital, positioning education as a cornerstone of social progress and economic resilience in the Philippines. After preparing all the basic documentary requirements, such as the approved name reservation slip, SEC cover sheet, registration data sheet, bank certificate, valid IDs of incorporators and trustees, and the list of contributors, the next step is to submit these documents along with the articles of incorporation and bylaws to the Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC will then evaluate and certify them to ensure compliance with the revised corporation code. Once approved, the corporation is formally granted its legal identity as a special non stock educational institution.